Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you about this podcast. It's called The DK Project, but it's really The Darren Show. The DK Project is a radio show, but without the radio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Let's go!
Doodle-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. Don't you wish you could sing? I'm not a singer. I don't. I mean, I sound amazing in the shower. I've got a great voice. People pay to hear my voice, but boy, they do not want it singing. You speak for a living. You don't sing, boy. I don't fancy an instrument. I can't. Nothing.
I can't fancy an instrument.
Can you play an instrument?
I'm starting to learn the guitar now.
Should I do a little background music?
Myself.
Doodle doo doo, and then you talk. Doodle doo doo. You're teaching yourself guitar?
Yeah, from YouTube.
Oh my God.
I know, right? My friend was like, "You'll get all the girls at the party now." I was like, "Right?"
Are you into girls?
No, I'm not. He was just joking around. I'm like, no.
Okay.
You were just like,
wait a minute. I thought okay. All right. Everything's in play. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Welcome back to the DK Project. I forgot to open with that. I was so into my song. I was listening to a podcast this morning, speaking of Here Comes the Sun, and they were interviewing Paul McCartney. And it was Mark Maron was interviewing Paul McCartney, and and he was mentioning something like, you know, what was what made you feel most famous or whatever, and Paul McCartney's like, well, it's in the Beatles. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this or not, but this is the small band. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. Whew, big time. Speaking of which, we need to get caught up on your world travels. You flew to Ohio drive in the hoopty to North Carolina. How many hours in the car?
Okay, so the way down there took us like over 11.
That isn't bad.
Well, first of all, I'm with my crazy mom, who I haven't been on a trip with in years. And then we're in a car with my sister, my little cousin, and my stepdad. And she thought she was told 8, and then it went to 9, and then it went to 10. And after that, it went to out for 11 because of all the accidents and traffic.
So you're learning to play guitar on YouTube.
Yes.
And your mom can't figure out how to Google driving time from my location to my new location?
Well, she took the word of what my stepdad said. She's like, I shouldn't have trusted him. And I said, well, that was your first mistake, was thinking that you knew he was right when you should have just did it yourself.
What makes him such a pro?
I know, right? I would have been like, I'm going to Google it myself. No, I'm fine.
So where did you go in Carolina?
We went to the Outer Banks, which is not the real world at all.
What does that mean?
It's not, I don't even know how to describe it. It's literally like, I guess, I always say, like, when you live in New York, you really don't feel like there's an outside world besides New York. That's what the Outer Banks felt like, but with just like, all white people, very clean beaches. Everyone looked like Ken and Barbie.
You got
mansions.
a real pretty mouth. Like hillbilly shit?
No, it was just very well-to-do people. I always tell my stepdad it's the most bougiest beach I've ever been on, but the beach was beautiful. Sand was beautiful. But everything closed at like 8 or 9. You couldn't buy liquor on Sundays. We couldn't buy wine until 10 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, wait. And then I will say the people were really nice. Like, they were so nice that there was a couple times me and my little cousin was trying to cross the street to walk to the beach, and the cars would just stop and be like, just go right ahead. They wouldn't have a red light, a stop sign. They would just stop in the traffic and just go right ahead. And I'm like, what are you doing?
That's normal, Minnesota.
That's normal?
Minnesota, that's normal.
Do you guys do that?
They'll cause accidents. So there's one right here by my building where they'll cause accidents, so they let some asshole cross on the trail.
I am not. I don't think even growing up like in Ohio, we were like that, and like living in Illinois for a while, that was never a norm for me to be like, oh, okay. I'm like, go. It was like it was giving me anxiety. I thought they were going to cause accidents. I'm like, go.
Yeah, well, so you were around wealthy people, nice people, white people with nice beaches, and you're complaining?
Well, it just, we all
I
sort
need
of
more
thought it was
gangster
going to
shit
be,
going
we were going to be
on.
able to go out and hang out and drink and have a good time. And it was just very like, if you want to not have a fun vacation, just go sit on the beach where it's nice. Wait, there was like one bar that was open for us to go hang out, and I felt like the whole town went there to hang out at.
I just booked tickets to North Carolina today, like 3 hours ago.
But you're not going to the Outer Banks, are you?
No.
I mean, it's not horrible. It's just not somewhere. We were thinking it was going to be more sort of like maybe like even like a Myrtle Beach vibe, where there'd be restaurants would be open late, things wouldn't be closed at a certain time, things wouldn't be
Was
open.
it
And,
pandemic,
it was
or was it
not
always?
what we all pictured in our head of what it was. And
Is it pandemic, or is it always?
it's just always the people that live there said it's just always like that. It gets busy for the summer, of course, and after that everything dies down. Everything even closes earlier and more frequent too. And I was just like, like I said, maybe if I had a family and I really didn't want to go out and do anything like little kids, and it's a great place to go, but we were just expecting something a little bit more different.
How was the drive? Mountainous?
I mean, Pennsylvania is very boring, which is per usual because I drive that to go to Ohio all the time. No, there was a lot of accents on the way there. So that's why our time kept on getting bumped higher and higher. And then because I'm the smallest one, I was made to sit in the middle, which, they call that word. I was like this the whole time.
Oh my, what did you drive, a pickup truck? Jesus, you hillbilly.
No, we were in an SUV, and like the SUV just wasn't big enough for all of us. And I was like, they're like, well, you have to sit in the middle. And I'm like, well, I get it, but whatever.
I don't get it. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous.
It just was a lot. And I was just like, I looked at my sister and I said, this is why I just fly everywhere pretty much. Because I just don't want to
They have this new invention called the airplane.
Yes.
Get there a lot faster. Well, it doesn't sound like the greatest trip that you've had. How long were you there?
It was fun. It just was, I think we all just wanted to be able to go out a little bit more and have a little bit of fun and not be in the house by like 9, 10 o'clock at night and not do anything.
You realize you can probably fly to wherever in North Carolina from New York for $200.
Well, this is the thing too. I was actually trying to do that, and it was hard for me to even get a rental car from the place because any airport is 2 hours or more away from the Outer Banks. So I could choose a 2-hour airport or 4-hour. And then the traffic is so bad going in and out of there because there's only one way in and out because it's like a little island pretty much on top of it. It took us over 2 hours to go 16 miles when we got there.
No
just
way.
To get in there.
I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to the Outer Banks. I heard the new Outer Banks show's coming out, the new series or the new season.
Yeah.
So you got that to look forward to. Wow. So nobody got hurt. Nobody killed any of their siblings or anything. It's all on the up and up.
No, it was fun. But I mean, it was nice to get away. But would I go back? Probably not.
How long were you there?
I was there from Saturday to Thursday. So it was,
too much. Not gonna do it. I'm flying.
I'm bougie. We all have to be bougie now. Just fly everywhere. It's the best.
I can't even get myself to fly like I gotta fly nicer than I don't know how to
listen to you. You are bougie. You and your facials and all this stuff. And your nice hotels and your glamping.
No. Hey, we had our big town festival this weekend, and you know who owns the ice cream store in the middle of the town. So we came in to open early, and we got overserved on Friday and slept in on Saturday. So we missed the parade and came in to open up the store, like whatever. So we did, and I'm walking by, and I've got a dumpster in the back of my building. Mm-hmm. And I walk by, and someone's throwing something in there. Okay, I'll let it slide. Then this other lady's walking by, and she throws some dog shit in my dumpster. So I walk by, and I go, that's not really a community dumpster. And she looks at me like I had just beat her child. She's looking at me like... well, then the old man steps in and he goes, well, are there any city baskets anywhere? I'm like, I don't fucking know. What do I look like? And really there is one not far and there's one not far that way. But I was so raged. Like, I go right to race car in the red, man. There's no middle road. I'm like, I don't fucking know where you could throw dog shit, but it ain't in my dumpster. I said, I pay for that. And he kind of looked at me like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, well... keep walking, partner. I don't want there to be a murder in the back of an ice cream store this year. My God, but I was just like, and people are so rude about that. But then later in the day, we went down to the festival, which I know I have a lot of local listeners, but my God, is there some trash in my town. Woo! This is like a magnet. They all come out for this baby. Tattoos, freaking.
Missing teeth.
Oh, God, it was just hillbillyville. But, so anyway, the wife and I and my kid take our scooters. He and I have scooters that we drive around town. So we drive our scooters down there, and then we go and get, some shitty fair food. And I got like a Hawaiian shaved ice. So we're finishing that on the way back to the scooters, and I'm like, fuck. I sure would like to throw this in this guy's garbage can, but I really couldn't because I just went off on it. Because my wife saw me blow up on this guy. I'm like, you know what? I'll just throw it under the seat and bring it home with me. But I'm like, ugh. Because I get it, but it's dog poop. That's different.
That's messed up.
People got to take better care of their crap. I mean, come on, get out of my life. I don't even understand. It's ridiculous. So anyway, we're at this festival. Do you have anybody that you know, but you don't know them? Like I have this one. It's the gal, but it's a couple, and I shit you not, I run into them 4 times a year, and I'll be at a bar or I'll be walking in a neighboring town, or I'm at this festival. So I'm at this festival. My wife and I are waiting on our cheese curds. And I don't want to say that out loud. Waiting on our cheese curds, and I go down to tie my shoe. And I come up, and these people are standing right there. And he's like, hey, were you guys here last night? I'm like, no, were you? And so we're talking now, and she chimes in, and I'm just like, there's like, how do you do that? How do you go?
Yeah.
And you are like, I don't know who these people are. And it's this same couple every time I freaking run into them. They'll just pop up. Like, they're the friendliest people ever. They don't live that far from me. And she's always like, how you doing? I'm like, I don't know you. Like, you know what? And then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, it's them. It's the couple that I don't know. That it's so weird. It's like, and it kind of makes me think of like people who are like, I don't want, famous, they get recognized, and people come up to them and they just start talking to them like they know them. And it's like, I don't know you. And these folks I do know, like,
you just want to talk to them.
No, and it's not even that. It's just, I don't know why I can never recognize them. Like, and I don't know if she changes her hair all the time or what. And him, I've only met him like 2 or 3 times. Okay. And he's either got a hat on or whatever. And I still don't know his name. But they roll up on me like we've been friends since high school. And I'm just like, and my wife's looking at me like, who are these people? And I'm like, they're the people we don't know. So you can't ask me, because I know that you know that I know that you know that we know these people, but we don't know who they are. So it's really, do you have anybody like that? Where you're like, oh, you? Like, what?
I mean, I usually when I do see people out that I know, I really don't want to talk to them. But I'll try to go somewhere. So
you're like hiding out. I see these
people.
Really
like talking to people on the street that much, honestly. Even if I know you.
Wow.
I just don't. Friendly. Like, usually if I'm here, I'm trying to get a point A to point B. I'm really not trying to be like, hi, how are you? Or blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm honestly just really good on that. Unless I say, I want to hang out with you.
I'm good too. Actually, it was funny because yesterday I got off of work and I get home and there's some freaking door-to-door sales guy working the wife over on the front porch over some bullshit. And normally I go in and I shut it down to the point where she's like, that was a little rude. And I'm like, I don't have time in my life to waste on guys who are walking around knocking doors trying to sell shit. Yeah. Shit I don't need. And so I just went out and sat in the back while she dealt with this guy. And I'm talking to the kids and I'm like, how long do you think it's going to take her to shut it down? Because we ain't buying anything. I don't care what he's selling. I know I don't need it. So she comes back to ask a question. And I just kind of like, I'm not getting up to help. Like, I don't need that.
It's like you struggle. Go right ahead.
It was something to do with like bugs, like a guy who comes and sprays or whatever. And I had just switched companies. I told her that I just switched companies. I'm not interested. Yeah. I don't care. So she, whatever. But yeah, she went back. She's gone for a little while longer. And I'm just like, God, come on. But she has so much trouble doing that. Like, even when we're out and about, she'll be like, a salesperson will come up to her and she's just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, fuck, shut it down. Nobody gives a shit. But so these people, I'm going to start to remember them as the people I don't know. And anytime anybody comes up that I don't know, I'm going to identify them as these people.
You need to put something in your phone.
That's my thing. Well, and I feel, and tell me this, and I don't know if she's a listener or not. She may be, but is it weird to say, hey? And I always go to being a stroke survivor. I can use that as a crutch.
Oh yeah.
I don't always remember everybody I see. So if there's a way when you come up, you could go, hey, how are you? This is. And I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to do that. But this, and it's only her. But is that rude to say, like, hey, when you, I love when you come up and talk to me. I love, the interaction, whatever. But if you could just announce who you are when you come up, is that weird?
I think it's a little weird.
Well, fucking, I think a name tag would be really weird. But like, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
who's gonna just have a fucking name tag?
Hey,
on
Darren,
that?
how are you?
I can't handle you right
Judy.
now. You're too much.
You know what I mean?
You're too
it's
much.
Judy. And then you're like, oh shit, yeah, Judy, the one I don't know. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, Judy, who's with you today? And she'll be like, Bob, my husband, still Bob. And I'll be like,
oh my God,
it's Judy
you're
and
too much
Bob
right now.
I'm telling you, this is a real problem for me. And I don't know why. Although, you know what I have caught myself doing recently is talking to the wife, I'll forget shit. Like yesterday, did you put cilantro in that? She answers a couple minutes later. Is there cilantro in there? She looks at me and I'm like, fuck, I just asked that, didn't I? She goes, yeah. So I apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't remember everything. Boom, back to the stroke survivor. What are you going to do? It's all it takes. That's all it takes.
What happened? You said you got a little overserved on Friday. What are you?
I have that. Well, I had some friends that invited us out. And, speaking of which, I had these friends that invited us out, and I'm like, my daughter had a little procedure on Friday, so we're like, we got to stay close to home. We don't want to leave her because she's moving slow, whatever. And then my sister is, always wants to come out and go boating, and it just never works, And she lives, I don't know, 45 minutes away, but she's like, I'm coming out Friday, and she just had her 50th birthday, so we want to go out and celebrate her birthday or whatever. But then all of a sudden, it's like, well, my daughter has this, and we have that, and I'm like, just come out anyway. Who gives a shit? We'll figure it out. So she comes out, and we were hanging out a little bit, and she's like, I want to go on the boat. So I'm like, fine. So we go out on the boat, and actually, what she did, which I don't know, tell me this, and she's a big listener, so here we go. She comes over to my house, and she's like, hey, you mind if I invite these people over? I'm like, to my house? Like, now? Like, you gonna have people over? But she's my sister, whatever. Whatever. And I know these other people. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Invite them over. I don't care. Yeah. So then she invites them over. So they come over. So then all of a sudden I'm like, okay. So now I got X and Y, and then okay. And then we're, I'm competitively drinking because I'm like, I got all these people in my house that I don't normally have, but whatever. So they end up leaving, and my sister's like, we want to go on the boat. I'm like, all right, let's go on the boat. We'll grab some dinner or something, which probably we shouldn't have done. But my daughter's boyfriend was over, and he could babysit my daughter, so I didn't have to worry about it. And my son was willing to drive the boat because I had been drinking. So I'm like, this is a home run. So we ended up going over and boating over to this town and go to my favorite restaurant. Meanwhile, my son's swinging the boat in this back way and takes a chunk off of my motor.
Oh my, okay.
That doesn't go well. So that could have cost money. Then we go to this restaurant, and I'm like, oh, we got to get this, and we got to get that, we got to get this.
Oh, yeah.
And
I like your style.
Holy fudge, my bill was.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I didn't want to go out because all of a sudden, my sister's drinking, I'm drinking competitively. My wife's drinking wine, and I'm like, well, why don't you just get a bottle? Because, my son drinks because he's 21, and his girlfriend was like, I'd drink some wine. I'm like, fuck, okay. And then, of course, you got to get dessert. I mean, you can't have a birthday celebration without dessert.
Yeah.
So it was not a cheap night. But anyway, I continued to consume at a aggressive pace. And, and if I stay out till like 11 or midnight, nobody wins. Nobody wins. But the bottle of wine the wife took down really nuked her. Saturday was just a waste. She's worthless after a bottle of wine. So we, it happens from time to time, and every time it happens, because I quit for 5 years.
Tell me you're telling me, yeah.
I'm so good at it that I just don't like to stop. And I think that is a 12-step program for people like that. Because I didn't mind not drinking. I could still do it, but as far as I have a few drinks, what are you going to do?
I was asking that because I drank a good amount on Saturday with some of my friends, because my friend was like, I'm going to come over and hang out. I'm moving. And she's like, oh, okay. So I know this girl through a job I used to have. She's like, well, I invited the other girls over. And I was like, oh, like it's a little get together. And that turned into like 13 people. And I start drinking, and I'm drinking I get there and I was like, I have to wait till the food gets here. Cause I was like, I know we're going to be drinking a lot tonight. I just want to make sure I have food in my system. And I start drinking rosé. Rosé is going down really smooth. Woo! And then come back in the house. And her fiance, who I'm really close with, he was like, his name's Jose. He's like, let's do a shot of tequila. And he never wants to do shots. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, let's just do a shot after 6 hours of drinking rosé.
Who does that?
I don't even know, because we're all stupid right now. And then after that shot, I really don't remember anything, but all I know is that I wake up at 4:30 in the morning in one of the kids' room on this massive beanbag where I guess I went and fell asleep. And I was like, how did I get into one of the kids' rooms sleeping on this huge beanbag? And after I fell back asleep a couple hours later, my friend's fiance gets up and I was like, Jose, what happened? And I was like, did I do anything stupid? He was like, you were fine. You were talking and then you left. And then we thought you all left. I went to go look for you. And I was like, let me just go see if she passed out one of the kids' room. And he said, you were covered up with your blanket all over your head and a little ball on the beanbag sleeping. And I was just like,
I think what he really said was,
all right. Yeah.
I get it. I was like, I was so not even embarrassed, but I was just like, what?
That's the worst. What? That's the worst, and that's part of the reason why I quit drinking originally, is because when you you don't know how you got to bed, you don't know what happened, and then you kind of, I do the old one eye open, look around to make sure nobody's standing above me with a sharp object, because I tend to get a little rowdy, but yeah, that's the worst. And then if you're in a strange place.
Yeah.
Ooh, good luck.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. When my friend I woke up at 4:30 to be like, where am I at? And my friend walked in. She's like, how did I get to my bedroom? I'm like, I don't know. And then she's like, do you want to drink a beer? And I went, it's 4:30 and I'm going back to bed. I'm going to drink a beer at 4:30 in the morning. Go away.
She's going hard in the paint.
I know. I was like, she's older than me. And I'm like, I can't even hang. And I was like, blacked out, fell asleep in your kid's room on a beanbag. What does that tell you?
That's a champion. Holy shit.
And then yesterday I was dead. Sunday I was dead. I wasn't headache, but I was just exhausted with sleeping all day.
Well, luckily your beach schedule accommodated your hangover.
Well, that was the day after. So,
the rest of us had our shoulder firmly placed on the wheel. Here we go. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
When was the last time you heard from your insurance agent? If you're ready for a new one, give Wiser Insurance Agency a call at 952-472-3660. They've got unlimited options, and they got the big boys, too, like auto owners insurance. Be sure to give them a call, 952-472-3660. Who's the contractor that's called in to fix the less experienced contractor's mistakes? Who's the contractor who gets approval from the insurance company even after the homeowner has been denied? Who's the contractor that has worked in our community and for our community for decades? Grady Restoration. Roofing, siding, windows, and gutters. Call us today for a free home estimate. Grady Restoration. They'll get the job done in a timely fashion. The average roof lasts about 20 years. But you may have storm damage that you can't see, or you may need more repairs than your insurance says they'll pay for. In fact, 92% of homeowners accept what the insurance company tells them, which could cause much bigger problems down the line. Let Grady Restoration help you get what you deserve. Call today for a free home inspection. For roofing, siding, windows, and gutters, call Grady Restoration at 952-472-1570 or look them up on the web at gradyrestoration.com.
Welcome back to the DK Project.
Woo. How do you follow that? Big time. Hey, I got some interesting news nuggets this week to talk to you about.
Yes, yes.
Listen to this. So, there's a dude, a 65-year-old man, in some foreign land. Where the hell was he? I don't even know. I read this so long ago. But he was sitting on the toilet, and that happened. Nearly a python, native to Asia. They can grow to a length of 30 feet.
Came out the toilet.
Bit him in the junk.
Oh my God! Did he lose it?
He was said to have felt a pinch in the area of his genitals before noticing a 5-foot snake beneath him in the toilet bowl at his home in the Austrian city of Graz. Could you even imagine? Oh God! Shortly after he sat down, he said, I felt a little pinch, and he looks down and boom. I don't know how that happens. Number one, like maybe if you're in an outhouse or something, but in traditional plumbing, that's pretty spectacular. If a snake's making its way around that deal, I
feel like it happens a lot in Australia too. I feel like I've seen a lot of stories about it over there and them coming out the toilet.
Well, I think they have more snakes than we do, don't we? Don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I thought they do, but it's kind of one of those things where, like, when you go out to an outhouse, then I get a little leery, like, hey, this could happen, like.
I can't do those. Porta potties, outhouse is not my jam. I can't. Sorry, I'm bougie when it comes to that.
Yeah, listen, speaking of high maintenance, I don't. I'll never sit in one, so I'm not that worried about it. But this was indoor plumbing. This is like real plumbing. So make sure you guys are watching where you're sitting, because you might get bitten. How about this? Lebanon's a little cash strapped right now. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Lebanon's cash strapped army sells helicopter rides during an economic crisis. Hit by the collapse of Lebanon's economy, the army has started selling rides on its helicopters to finance their maintenance.
Wow.
Could you even imagine?
I don't even know what to say to that. How much, do they say how much a ride is? I'm going to know.
Oh,
Did they say?
No, it's probably in their funny money, not our money. But I don't think it says. That would be interesting to find out. Like, is it that much to where it's worth it? Here you go. Here we go. So the war we are in is economic. What does this say? The war we are in is economic and therefore requires unconventional means. And the idea that we had these helicopters, let's do the tours. Then they say the guy's name. The cost of these trips secure the essential maintenance of the planes. A 15-minute ride on an Army Robinson R-44 training helicopter. $150.
Mine says 150. Did you say 150?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 150. I mean, guess it's not too bad.
What are you buying tickets already? You already online Googling it?
Yeah, I was already Googling it.
Trying to find
I was
tickets?
very curious.
I love it. I've also, have you seen some of this stuff about the Olympics? Jesus, Palomino. We're talking about here's a Google item for you. Put this in your Googler. How many? What's the vaccination rate in Tokyo? Like in Japan, it's like 20%.
Really?
But you're gonna want to fact check that. But yeah, now
what is it actually? You said in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, as of Monday, Japan had administered 15.6 million vaccination doses, accounting for just over 8% of its population.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Now we're sending all these athletes in there. There's no fans allowed at the Olympics, but they're sending all these athletes in there, and a few of them have already gotten it. The pandemic. Or I'm sorry.
COVID-19 cases rise despite games pledged of 80% vaccination rate. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's stupid.
Is that crazy?
That's insane. And this is why it's going to continue to spread and never end, because of stupid shit like this. Oh my God, I can't handle this.
You mean stupid shit like the Olympics?
Well, I mean, it's just like, this is like, no one's really vaccinated, and this is what's happening right now. I don't know. It's just stressing me out.
It isn't good. Oh, jeez. Take a breather. All right, we'll change subjects. I know you're a big fan of the Washington's annual 4th of July burger eating contest. Did you watch it this year?
No.
Well, something happened this year that hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah?
They had a tie.
Burger eating, you said contest?
Yep. 34 burgers in 10 minutes. And two
Ew.
people
How big
tied.
are they, though, ounce-wise?
I don't know.
Well, you have to know the ounces. I mean, it's like a 2-ounce patty, a 4-ounce patty, a 6-ounce patty. How much are they really consuming?
Oh, that's a real good question. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, because when you do the hot dog contest, we know how big the hot dogs are.
Well,
So
and, look at you. I always got to piss on my parade. I finally come up with
I'm
a hot
sorry.
headline. I come up with a big
you know
headline.
I'm a foodie too, so I got to be like, how big are the hamburgers?
How big are the hamburgers? It doesn't say. It says,
No.
oh, you know what it says right here? If someone asks how big the hamburgers are, tell them to fuck off. It doesn't say.
I knew that was coming. Damn, that's still a lot though. 34 in 10 minutes.
And 2 people did it. Dan, the Killer Kennedy of Pennsylvania, knocked out 34 of them. Who's the other
my
one?
gosh.
Where's the other one? We don't want to give all the credit. Oh, Molly, a chick.
Wow,
A
good
mother
shit.
of 4 from California managed to down 34 burgers. Just one shy of her record 35.
Wow. I want to see what these people look like. They're probably really skinny too.
I
on
don't
top
know.
Of it,
What do you
so.
do immediate after that? Do you go right to the bathroom and throw up, or what do you do?
I
don't
would
get it.
probably puke my guts out.
God, that's a lot.
I would puke my guts out. But
that's
they
a-
train for that too, so they're used to it, I guess, you know.
Well, it
So they
sounds
probably
like-
would still throw up a little
It
bit.
sounds like she let herself down. She could have gone. She's gone 35 in the past, but she couldn't quite do it. 35,
Oh my gosh.
35 would have got her to the W. Or do you think you're at 34 and you're kind of looking over like, well, if he eats another one, I'll eat another one. Like, oh, Jesus.
I guess I will.
Ugh. Oh my God, I can't even believe it. I was shocked when you see the hot dog people, you know, that Kobayashi or who the hell ever they are. You see
Yeah.
them get after it, and it's like, wow, but those are hot dogs. These are hamburgers. This is like,
Ugh.
it's like a whole deal, and I'm sure before the end of the show, we'll know how many ounces those bad boys are.
I can't even like look at the hot dog contest because like I can't stand seeing soggy bread and like when they dip their
Why do they
like
do
the
that?
hot dog into
Why do they do that?
I think it's just easier for them because you know, like the bread, or I don't know, it's just easier for them like to chew and swallow. I guess I don't know, because you got to think that's a lot of bread to chew each and every time. You got to think once it like gets wet, it just like dissolve, like disintegrates. You know what I'm talking about? Like it breaks up. But like every time I see soggy bread, even on the streets, like when it rains, I'm like, it makes me want to throw up because it looks like throw up to me.
How do
I
they
cannot look at it.
Oh yeah, I don't know. How do they get rid of the thing? How do they get rid of the you know, like how do you not get waterlogged? I would be so waterlogged.
Oh,
That's
God. You see how they
hardcore.
just dip it and put it in their mouth? It's like so.
Are you watching the hot dog one?
Huh?
Are you watching the hot dog one?
No, I've watched them. I just seen them, so that's why it always grosses me out. I can't watch them anymore.
Oh yeah, you can't do it. It's hardcore. It's
Oh my God.
it's not for the faint of heart. Hey, what do you have in the Yelp corner this week?
Yelp. Let me get my phone.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of funny ones. So I didn't know that people would write about getting their wisdom teeth pulled, but I guess so.
So are they yelping about the dentist?
Yeah, about the dentist on Yelp. She gave it 4 out of 5 stars. She says Dr. Funt is an OG, came in, introduced himself after making a few jokes, and then proceeded to rip 4 wisdom teeth from my mouth, in parentheses, like a boss capitalized with exclamation point, without breaking a sweat, but definitely a struggle. My wisdom teeth were stubborn to say the least, just like me, but he managed to get them all out in less than 45 minutes. The front test was pleasant, efficient, and helpful. Great office. This is going to hurt like a son of a bitch in a few hours, though. And then she put pictures up of her wisdom teeth.
On Yelp? Why do people do that?
It's disgusting. I
But she
know.
wasn't like complaining. She was just
No, she said it was
commenting?
like she was super excited how great he did a job, and then she proceeded to put her pictures up of her teeth. Like, who wants to see her teeth?
What is the matter with people?
She's probably a serial killer too, so she keeps a collection of teeth. So-
Is that a thing? Is that what serial killers do?
Well, I feel like that's how they start off. They do something crazy that the people like, who would want to post a picture of their teeth? Who would want to keep their teeth?
That's
I don't
true.
understand if you have like a kid,
That's
you want to
true.
keep a picture like
Of their teeth?
I understand if you have like a little kid that like, they lost their first tooth and you want to hold onto your kid's tooth. I can sort of see that.
Right.
That's not as creepy as keeping your own wisdom teeth. But when I got mine pulled, he's like, "You want them?" And I was like, "No. What am I going to do with them?"
No, you make a necklace out of them, like an ivory on a.
What is that? It's my teeth.
It's my teeth. In case I blow one later, I got one to put in. You know what? Speaking of which, the wife and I were walking yesterday, and she was asking me something about. We were just kind of rolling, and she was asking me, about my stroke or whatever. And I said, "What are you updating the baby book? Like, what? Where did that come from? Like, how does that? What point?" And then I started thinking, like, at what point does the baby book and all the bullshit that your parents did or that you do for your kids or whatever, like, I mean, people die, then they just kind of become like shit that you got to get rid of. Like, I mean, who's going to keep that? What's the point? So all these people are holding on to all of these teeth. I don't understand the point. Ugh.
I can't even do it.
Can you grind them down and do anything with them?
Next one is, I guess this girl was using this service to look for a wedding dress or wedding, like whatever's going on for her wedding.
Nice.
She says she gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Choose the harshest punishment you can find over using, I don't know if I should say the business, beep, 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 for your wedding dress needs, for your wedding need. For example, if you have an opportunity to spend the winter in Siberia or perhaps a few summer months in the pest-ridden, hazardous, and life-threatening jungles of the Amazon basin, jump all over these opportunities in lieu of plainly ruining your life by having to deal with this horrendously bad website developed by blah, blah, blah. The website can and will reliably destroy your wedding and relationships with your loved ones.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say to that. I was like, what? What has happened?
So in these things, they're naming specific places, right?
Yeah. And I was like,
but that's just random.
They didn't even get into it. They just ripped this website apart and just use these other horrible places to put.
But they didn't have like a specific reference or anything?
I'm guessing that it says something. No, it just says that the website can and will reliably destroy your wedding and relationships with your loved ones. So something must have happened over this website with someone in their family. And God. I was like, that's just too extra. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like the shit that comes out of these people's mouth in this review, I'm like, they have so much time on their hands.
Yeah, why are they so adamant to comment? It's just stupid. I don't know.
I'm like, why are you so angry? It's so angry.
I'm telling you. They're out there. I don't know. Holy shit.
And then this one, okay, the last one I saw was, this is about a hotel, which made me laugh because I've had bad experiences with the Hotel Miami, so I totally understand this, but not to this extent.
Wow, the Hotel Miami,
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you that story later on. It was not great. This one says, if you enjoy feeling like your life is in immediate peril, then this is the one hotel for you. If you like blood stains on your sheets and slashes on your comforter, then don't look any further. How about some roaches and bed bugs to keep you company for the night? And that's a question mark. If you like getting robbed, being watched, hearing domestic disputes, children screaming, and police sirens, I would highly recommend this hotel. I have never seen or smelled anything as disgusting as the Fiesta Inn. My room smelled like somebody died while smoking a cigarette. And I wouldn't doubt if he was shoved in the couch. I walked in and immediately walked out. I got contact high just from walking up to the building. The manager said the best they could do is to send over housekeeping to check things out. No refunds. Do yourself a favor and never go here.
Wow.
That was pretty. I said he died while smoking a cigarette. That sort of made me chuckle still.
What is it?
He said, this person said, hold on. I've never seen her smell anything as disgusting as this, the Fiesta Inn. Her room smelled like somebody died while smoking a cigarette.
Nice. Did I sign that? Because I have an experience very similar to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't fill out a Yelp review, but boy, I could have. We were, one of my dudes was playing baseball at the Wisconsin Dells.
Wisconsin.
And I'm like, I don't want to go to the traditional water parks that we always go to. I find this one off the beaten path. I'm like, I'm going to go check that one out. We end up going there, blah, 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 blah. Going to check in. And there's two sides. There's like a newer side of the hotel and then the other side. And the other side was first, so I just happened to pull in. I'm like, oh, here's where you go check in. So I go in to check in, and I'm like, I'm not jacked up about the place. And I go in, and they got like a, you know, and when you're at these water parks and they got like buffets and shit, and I'm like, God, I don't want to do it. But anyway, I check in, and we get our room, and we're like, hey, let's just run downstairs to dinner. Well, it's buffet only. And I'm like, fuck, I don't do a buffet. And there's some biggins there, like real big buffet champions. And we end up doing whatever. And it was the worst experience ever. Actually, on the way down there, you take this road, and there was such a bad semi-accident that like we put the car in park on the freeway, on the interstate. And
really?
Like the kids had time to run into the woods to piss and come back because we weren't moving at all. So it took us like 4 or 5 hours to do a 3-hour trip. And then I go check into this place, and we go out for dinner, whatever night it was. Go back, come back from dinner, and I pull last parking spot. I'm like, I take it. I hop out with my flip flop on, big pile of vomit right there. Stepped right in.
Oh no!
So then we go into the hotel room, and it's I think it's maybe the two boys and the wife and I don't know. They were all so young. And it's a shared room, but we're not sharing a room with the neighbor. And it's got a deck, balcony thing, whatever. And all of a sudden it's like middle of the night. And I had just had my stroke and had just recovered. I was pretty much worthless. I needed barely could make the walk on my own. And at like 2 a.m, the wife shakes me and she's like, "Do you hear that?" And I'm like, "No." Well, now that you say something, I do. Well, the guy and the gal in the room next door were fighting, and he was like beating the shit out of her. It was ugly. But I don't know. This is my report. And so the wife's like, "What do I do? Like, they could come through that door, or they could come over on the balcony. I don't know." And I'm like, "I don't know. I can't do anything. Like, I am worthless." So I go call the front desk and send security up. So she goes over and grabs the phone. She goes, "The phone's dead. What do I do?" I'm like,
it's such a horror movie.
I'm like, "Get your cell phone and call the." So she's like Googling the number for the property, and the security came, and I don't know if they were just messing around rough or what, but we got up in the morning and we're kind of like going to do whatever, and the lady comes out and she was looking at us like, "I know you called." Like she was just pissy looking at us, and I'm just like, "I thought you were getting killed over there."
Dude, yeah,
it was the worst experience of my life. It was so horrible. But then if I would have passed that entrance and gone on to the second entrance, because I had a buddy from town who was there for a wedding staying at that hotel, but he was on the nice new side. And he's like, "Oh, no, the place is great, whatever." I'm like, what a hellhole. Like, no way. I was so grossed out. Everything about it to the point where I'm just like, we just need to leave. I can't be here.
Wow.
And I've become a little more of a prima donna since then, but that probably was what tipped the scales. Like, I don't care what it costs. I'm not dealing with that shit again. I don't.
Yeah.
That's the whole water park world, though. You don't have kids, so you don't know. You will someday. But like, your kids love water parks, and the people who go to water parks are shitty kids, shitty parents. It's just all around a horrible experience for everybody. The kids love it because it's a water park, but oh my God, it's just gross. Everything about it. You can't do it. I'm so glad I've put that behind me in my children's lives, because it's
I was just talking about water parks with my friends the other day too, because I was like, I would like to go to one because I haven't been to one in so long.
No,
I swear.
Negative on the
I guess park. I won't.
Hey, we got to wrap this thing up. All this I'm not gonna go shower. I feel so gross now after this story, damn it. And I did not fill out a Yelp review, even if that world's worst experience that I had, I didn't fill out a Oh shit, I forgot one of the more important parts. We're at this baseball tournament, and I'm talking to my friend, and I'm like, "Hey, we're staying at this hotel. It's kind of a shithole, but I wanted to be off the beaten path. You know, I didn't want to be where everybody." And they're like, "Isn't that the one with all the bed bugs in the review?" I'm like, "What? What?" And they're like, Yeah, it's been like in a lot of their reviews, it talks about bed bugs, and I'm like, oh God.
Oh, you got to read the reviews. That was my problem. When I went to Miami, I bought the tickets, and then I didn't read the reviews for the hotel, and that was my deal. So,
no more. On that note, We want to thank all of our sponsors for taking care of us on today's show. We got Wiser Insurance. Look them up at wiser-insurance.com. Grady Restoration at gradyrestoration.com. Lost Lake Creamery. Favorite ice cream store in the world. LostLakeCreamery.com. Everybody, thanks, Kristin, for hanging out. We will be back next week. Actually, we've got some guests coming up, and maybe a new segment on the license plate's actually going to happen. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I didn't make it happen. Last week was crazy. So thanks for hanging in there. We'll be back next week with another episode of the DK Project. Thanks, Kristin.
That's it. That's the end.
That's a wrap.
Read the shtick.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you'd like to reach out, you can use the studio line at 612-504-6500 or by email, thedkprojectpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always social media at the DK Project Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.